I've been to see him. He looks a lot like you.
A scattered dream that's like a far-off memory. A far-off memory that's like a scattered dream. I want to line the pieces up. Yours and mine.
Don't you want to know the truth? About who you really are?
What did you do? What did you do to him?
The Keyblade. A truly marvelous weapon.
Roxas. I'm out of time.
Why did you call me Roxas?
Wouldn't you like to know?
Only you could have made it this far in one piece.
Best friends forever.
You make a good other.
Alrighty. Going to get that out of the way. I'm gonna go ahead and play my music right now. Okay, let me go ahead and do some adjusting real quick. Okay. And I'll show it off in just a minute. Okay, getting some stuff ready to go. Okay. Anyway. Alright, here we go. Hello, everybody. Welcome in. Welcome to my 9th episode of my Kingdom Hearts podcast, the Paopu Scoop, where I sit down and talk about all things Kingdom Hearts in terms of theories and lore every 13th day. Every 13th day of the month. So, last time we got to sit down here. I got to sit down here and talk about King Mickey's quest in Kingdom Hearts 4. So that was one of the screenshots that I picked. I know I recorded early before I actually left for Reconnect, which of course now by the time of this recording, obviously I am back. It's good to be back. It's good to be back home from Reconnect. Reconnect was a lot of fun. Excuse me. Reconnect was so fun, and I wish I can go again. But yeah, thank you guys so much for tuning in. If you guys are watching this on YouTube and also over on Twitch chat. If you guys are new, please, on YouTube, don't forget to do following by liking, sharing, subscribing, all the good jazz. It really helps me out. So today, we're going to talk about obviously, we're going to talk more about Kingdom Hearts 4. Definitely do some theories discussion and probably some potential lore. But I'm actually not going to be doing this alone. Looking at Twitch chat, I see Mystic Eve Gaming. Mystic, hello. Welcome on in. Good to see you. Welcome on in. So good to see you. So, joining me right here on the show is I have my good friend M, aka M Power Music. How's it going, M? Yeah. Yeah, I know we were saying earlier for this call, but can you... I still feel it's unreal that it's already been a whole... year, why did I almost say a whole year since Reconnect? A whole month! A whole month since Reconnect has come and gone. And I know you, me, and everybody else, we had a really, really great time. Yeah, it was really, really good. It was good to see everyone. But, yeah, for those of y'all who don't know M is also a content creator on Twitch and YouTube. She also plays a lot of Kingdom Hearts and other games, but she also covers theories and lore for Kingdom Hearts. And just like yours truly, she was a MDA nominee for theories and lore. So, which is also exciting because I'm glad we got to go home with a nomination, which was great. But yeah, it's been pretty solid. It's been pretty solid. So anyway, I know we don't know much about Kingdom Hearts 4, but I feel like so one thing I do want to discuss where to kick things off. I do have this page open right now. It was the sentence that I showed you at Reconnect, and I paused it right here for this occasion, and it says, "The choice is yours once more." Now, for me personally, I honestly could feel like it could mean anything. Like, if I were to kind of like sum things up, I was thinking about this earlier today, and I was like, this sentence could probably mean anything. This can make a lot of connections to like the openings for like the numbered Kingdom Hearts titles. Like whenever we hear, Sora says the thing, and then here comes Yurida Hikaru with the music. Like obviously, with Kingdom Hearts 1, we had is any of this for real or not? Kingdom Hearts 2 with a scattered dream, like it's like a far off memory. And that's KH2. Why did I say KH3? KH2 being the scattered dreams. And then KH3 thinking about, the whole, they can take your world, they can take your heart. So, if you were to put this sentence together with says right here, and you just see that single chess piece on the board, and even if you look at it, like on Sora's crown, one side is shaded, is like shaded, while the other is not. And it says the choice is yours. Now, what are some possible connections that you think is going to happen based on what we got from the screenshots? Just looking at this picture alone, and just like the way like how Sora's been doing the intros for the number titles.
Right. That's actually a good catch about with the chess piece, one being sort of shaded and the other kind of sitting in the sun or having the sunlight reflected off of it.
Yeah.
So I'm like you. It could honestly mean anything. And sometimes it's a quote that is quoted within the game. I know there is a theory out there that was for Kingdom Hearts 3 with the opening quote that Sora was saying that to Kairi before that moment their own Destiny Islands. Yeah, it could mean anything. I think like when I kind of on the first look, just seeing that quote in front of Sora's chess piece, or the chess piece representing Sora, we're in this place where even Strelitzia alludes to it in the teaser trailer for Kingdom Hearts 4 that this place Quadratum is, for at least for her and Sora, are apparently sort of this afterlife. So
yeah,
I personally am of the mindset that Quadratum is basically purgatory, or this sense of purgatory. And so on the first look of like, this whole the choice is yours once more, is this like a way for maybe Sora to repeat some events, repeat some choices that led him to Quadratum in the first place, because he's there or it's assumed he's there because he's being punished for abusing power of waking, which is, if you take another step and think about it, it's him abusing the power of light, because he's a Keyblade wielder, guardian of light. His power comes from light, so he essentially abused the power of light. Maybe the choice is given to him by somebody. Maybe the Master of Masters, but I'm not 100% sure, but it's given him by somebody, or something to choose again a little more wisely this time around. That's like my first initial thought looking at that. And then my second thought, which might be, I don't know if I would say it's controversial, maybe it's a little darker, is he might have the choice, or be presented with the choice to choose the path of light or the path of darkness again, but this time maybe he can, for him it's going to be a default easy choice. He's going to choose light, but if he chooses light, what's going to be the cost? Like, at what cost? If he chooses light in order to, say, prevent this realm of Quadratum, or this reality which is to them unreality, if it's to prevent that from expiring, is that at the expense of his realm of light going away, or is it vice versa? Will he choose for Quadratum for that unreality to be overtaken by darkness, or for darkness to win in order to be able to go home and go back to the realm of light? So those are the two theories that I kind of came up with. I like the second.
Yeah, that was very good. That was very good.
I hope Nomura goes in that direction, because that would be awesome.
That would be.
But,
I mean, knowing Pablo Nomura, he'll do anything to make it canon, you know?
yeah.
Just leave it to Nomura. But you know what? I do like where you're getting at. Like, because now, here is my take on all of this. So for me, obviously we know that both Strelitzia and Sora are dead. Basically, pretty much. You know, obviously we know what happened to Strelitzia back in the Union Cross saga. We know what happened to Sora with this, abusing the power of waking. So, my guess is, this could probably be, like, both Sora, mostly with Sora's case, since we just see, like, just looking at the picture, just the Sora chess piece right there. This is, to me, I feel like, this is Sora experiencing the confrontation of death. Because, like, I guess, I don't know. That's what I'm trying to get. Like, he's, like, I guess he's experiencing all of that, now that he's dead, I'm sure he definitely wants to find a way to get out. But, like, but the thing is, as well, there was one thing I also picked up on. It was around the end of Kingdom Hearts 3. Do you remember when they showed off young Ericus and young Xehanort in the same room with the chessboard, and young Ericus like, hey, I got this new game that I learned about, and then and young Xehanort's like, well, okay, trying to remember, refresh my memory. Was it 6 or 7 black pieces that he said? It was 7, right?
I'm pretty sure it was 7.
Okay, it was 7 black pieces, and of course, young Ericus cuts the screen, saying, like, just watch. Right. So, I'm kind of thinking, if Sora is obviously experiencing death, while being in Quadratum, like, it's kind of like what you were saying earlier, like, maybe, like, these 7 black pieces could definitely mean something with Sora kind of living in a purgatory-ish kind of world. Because, like, when you do think about it, I've seen some people, like, talk about the little billboards, like the little billboards in Quadratum, like, saying, like, oh, like, here's, like, a wristband, or, like, something mentioned about, like, like, keep your life in check, or something like that, So, I mean, that I can understand, but, it's, to me, I feel like, wait, what this quote is getting at, the choice is yours once more. I feel like that this is, to me, this is another option for Sora to be given more like a second chance. So obviously we know, like, he's already dead and all that stuff, but, and we kind of see that, like, in other forms of media, like you'll see some characters who are already dead, but they, but you see them, like, like, okay, I'm willing to give you, I'm willing to give you a second chance, but you have to do this in order to, like, come back or whatever, because if you fail to do this, then this is going to happen, and this is going to happen. So, so to me, this is kind of like I kind of feel it's like a last chance scenario. Like, this is like Sora's last chance. It could be like a last chance, like Sora, has to think about, what can he do, like, what he needs to do in order to, like find a way to get out, find a way to get out of Quadratum. But, it also got me thinking about the 7 screenshots that we got earlier this year. Kind of got me thinking, because, like, I mean, now, and one of them that definitely got my attention was the phone. Was the phone. I feel like maybe that can probably be, like, a way to, like, communicate into a place where his voice can be reached, because it also has me thinking about what Master Xehanort said around the end of melody of memory when Sora has that connection with Kairi, where he says, your voice can no longer be reached. Because obviously, you know, Sora can't talk because he's in Quadranum. So I'm kind of guessing, like, maybe maybe that phone can be, like, a symbolism as, like, a one-way ticket to, like, find clues as to, for him, how to, like, figure out how to get out? Or just, like, maybe to speak with people on the other side? Maybe? Because I know, like, in most culture, that's what those kind of phones were used. Like, especially in Japan, you know, like people would get on those kind of phones, you know, to communicate with the dead. So maybe Sora will, you know, can definitely use that phone we saw in the screenshot as, like, maybe, like, a clue, or maybe he can gather some information, because, you know, it could be a possibility, you know?
I think so. I know the prevailing theory is, like, this is a Kingdom Hearts version of the Wind Phone. Whether or not the message is received or how it's received is kind of like, I mean, we haven't seen yet. My theory on that is that maybe when Kairi had, you know, was struggling and her fight with Xehanort in the final world when she was asleep, that when Sora appeared, essentially that was him using the Wind Phone in a way. So
yeah.
In a way, maybe we've already seen how this phone works, if it is in fact the Wind Phone, like Japanese culture and other cultures have done. But I'm very curious. I also have a theory on that one.
Oh,
but,
I'm interested to hear this one too.
All right, so this one's already posted. If I remember correctly, I said that yes, this is basically a grief mechanic, and by that I mean this is a way that you know, Sora's realizing that he's dead. He's in this afterlife purgatory type of place, and he still wants to communicate with the people he holds dear. It's not like he's, well, from what we know so far, it's not like he's lost his memories of them like he might have done in Chain of Memories.
Yeah.
So as far as we know, he still has his memories of everyone. So he's using this phone, but is there a point where he can overuse it, and it almost has a reverse effect of, like, overusing it sort of weakens his bonds because he just can't let go,
Yeah.
which is kind of a repeating thing that we've seen with Sora, especially in Kingdom Hearts 3, in the Key Lake Graveyard, where everybody got wiped out.
Yeah.
And that really broke him. So that's kind of like what I'm curious about, because I feel like, I mean, okay, my if I were to be cynical, if I were to be cynical about these screenshots, I would say there was not really a rhyme or reason of which ones were posted, and they were, like, trying to, like, soften the blow of Missing Link being canceled. So it was very much a PR move with no thought being put into what was really just the ones that look good enough. But if there was a rhyme or reason to which screenshots were selected, then maybe there's a reason that we see this phone. And, like, so many people, once the screenshots, you know, were first posted, were like, oh, that's a Wind Phone. Which is, like, my first time of hearing about it. I got to learn something new.
Yeah.
But, yeah, so, but having this random phone in the middle of these like, fresh screenshots, there's probably a reason that they did add that to the collection of PR screenshots, as I like to call them. But I do think it will be important, and it will kind of, like, work with this kind of working through grief and facing the reality of death, and as well as, like, getting a second chance or a final chance at, like, trying to make whatever it is right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I totally do get, and you know what? I like that idea, what you said about, like, how, you know, with Kyrie being the final world and Sora kind of having, like, a connection with him during that Master Xehanort fight.
Mm-hmm.
You know, honestly, I kind of thought about that, and I was just like, you know, maybe that could be the possibility of, like, the ways, like, how, that's, like, going to be the main usage of the Wind Phone. And I like what you, and I really like what you said, like, how, like, when you look at all the screenshots, what is the one photo that's in the middle? It's the fucking phone. The phone is in the middle. So my guess is as well is, like, you know, because when you do think about it, when Sora arrives to the final world, heck, even, you know, Riku and Kairi and the fairy godmother, you know, when they enter the final world, they see all these stars just lying around, you know, and like heck, even in Kingdom Hearts 3, you know, Sora was able to, like, you know, communicate with a few of them, including with Naminé. You know, he was able to do that as well, along with the Nameless Star, which I'm sure which obviously, of course, you know, we don't know much about. I mean, honestly, there's a lot of theories being thrown up in the air as to who is actually this Nameless Star. We can't say for sure whether if it's Strelitzia or not. I mean, we don't know. I mean, I've been hearing a lot of people say that it's probably has to be the girl from Varen Rex. A lot of people.
That's a prevailing theory, yeah.
Yeah, people say it's probably her. So my guess is with that as well. You know, like, heck, you know, like, I want to say that I feel that Sora learned how to use his phone, obviously in Quadratum somewhere, but I want to know from somebody because part of me wants to think, you know, like, the reason why the Nameless Star in Kingdom Hearts 3 was able to communicate with Sora is maybe she was able to use the Winding Phone wherever she's at.
Right.
And, like, even at the end of Melody and Memory, you know, like, she was able to, like, you know, pass on information to both Riku and Kairi and the fairy godmother about, like, Sora, like, telling her not to give up and, like, you know, having a portal granted for Riku to definitely use his powers to go to Quadratum to go find Sora.
Yeah.
You know, because, like, I'm kind of thinking, you know, like, maybe there could be a chance, like, maybe we'll even get to meet this Nameless Star and who she really is. And there was one thing that I did bring up. Now, since you did mention Chain of Memories earlier, so, you know, so remember, like, how in Chain of Memories, the one character who mostly gave Riku a choice on what he wanted to do between light and darkness was Diz, aka Ansem the Wise.
Right.
So, my guess is, do you think that with the purpose of Strelitzia being there, do you think she probably might take on this role? Like, kind of like what Diz did for Riku in Kingdom Hearts, in Chain of Memories? Like, kind of like giving Sora a choice, you know, like, oh, you know, what do you want to do? Do you want to take this path? Or do you want to take this path? But then again, but part of me can think, like, you know, maybe but yeah, that is just, like, my guess right there, you know, like, maybe, like, Strelitzia can have, like, a similar role to Diz, you know, or maybe it's like, oh, this is a one-way ticket, you know, to go back to Sora's world, but one person has to stay behind. In the same way. But do you think maybe Strelitzia might be able to do something like that? Like, kind of similar to, like, what Diz did for Riku? You know, like, oh, would you like to take the road of light? The road of darkness? Or, obviously we know Riku takes the path in the middle, aka the Twilight Road to Nightfall. Do you think Strelitzia might have a similar role with that for like Diz?
I don't quite see that. I think, like, I mean, obviously she was powerful enough to be a dandelion, to be picked to be a dandelion, at least before she got struck down in Union Cross. However, I think Strelitzia does have a purpose there. I feel like her purpose will come maybe a little bit later. Like, I don't want, or my personal desires. I don't want her to just be a device to move the plot along. I think she is there for a reason. I don't think she's just there to like be the guide that shows Sora around Quadratum and that's it. I think there's something more.
Yeah.
I don't know if she would essentially be in that role to offer a choice to Sora, just because like with Diz, aka Ansem the Wise, he already had like previous knowledge based on his unethical but his research into matters of the heart. So when he met Riku and first disguised himself as like Ansem Seeker of Darkness and then revealed himself at least somewhat as Diz, that was to him that was basically another experiment, essentially. And because he's a researcher, a scientist, he can't help but, well, he can, but
yeah,
it's in his nature to, you know, hypothesize and like research in real time and try to test this out. So
yeah,
I think Ansem the Wise kind of had this previous knowledge of like, oh, here's somebody who can, it looks like if, you know, he works at it and keeps his mind, he can actually wield the power of darkness but like not be overcome by it. That's different.
right.
Let's see what path he'll choose. So I think with Ansem the Wise offering Riku that choice at the end of Chain of Memories, is him working off of what he already knew about the heart and darkness, what this new variable that is Riku, who he hasn't come across before, who is very strong, who is obviously dealt with darkness before, but is trying to figure out, can he truly cast it aside, or is this something unique to him that he can like wield appropriately, which we see later that he does.
Yeah.
So back to Strelitzia, I don't know if she'll have that previous knowledge. One, because I'm not fully convinced that is the real Strelitzia. Personally, that I feel like it could be. It could also be a replica that is made of Strelitzia's data.
Okay.
So that could be Strelitzia, who basically knows everything right up to the point that she's taken out. And was told that like, oh, whoever brought her, or whoever, because I feel like she was brought to Quadratum. So whoever was there and might have taken her body, like maybe woke her up and was like, by the way, this is like an afterlife. This is like some type of purgatory, and kind of gave her that knowledge.
Yeah.
So all that to say is like, I don't. If we're going with the replica theory, definitely not. Because that version of Strelitzia would have very limited knowledge.
Yeah.
And so I don't know if she would be there to offer Sora this choice of like, you can do this or this. If you do this, you might not be able to go home though. If it is some version of Strelitzia that is real, which I'm trying to do mental gymnastics of how that would even be possible.
Yeah.
So if that is some version of Strelitzia that is real and is not a replica with her data, then again, like, I feel like I don't know if she would have enough knowledge of Sora to, because I feel like that the thing of the choice is yours, that would be said by somebody who knows Sora or knows his tendencies, or at least can sense something within him.
Yeah.
That stands out, kind of like how Ansem the Wise sensed something within Riku that stood out. So that's it. I would be hard pressed to see Strelitzia offering that type of choice with that type of knowledge of, I'm gonna offer him this, knowing that that's gonna be either a really difficult decision for him, which I feel like in this instance it will be. I don't think it'll be as easy as Riku choosing the middle road. I think because Riku we could already see, and I think Ansem the Wise already saw, was like, this is a very independent person. Like, he's gonna find a way to try to make it work.
Yeah.
And like, not necessarily just be drawn to fully light or fully darkness. Like, he's gonna like forge his own path, which he did.
Right.
So I think like I think that this offering of choice might actually be, maybe the Masters does run into Sora earlier than we think.
Yeah.
It is shown that he's there in Quadratum. So,
And Lushu.
Yeah, in Lushu. So, we don't have a reason to not believe that, that could be either one of them saying that to Sora. But yeah, but that's my rambling of.
No,
Like,
I enjoyed that. I really did. Yeah, I really did enjoy it. And I will bring this up as well because I remember seeing this in one of I also would like to give this person a shout out, by the way, and I will definitely put him in the description. Big shout out to our good friend Landi over at the Landi Lodge. I'd like to give a shout out to Lanny in this one because I remember in one of his episodes, he actually talked about the idea. I'm trying to remember what he said, but he was saying he was like, I like the idea, like the whole maybe that's not like the real Strelitzia, maybe that's like a replica or like a Strelitzia made out of data. But I'm trying to remember what Landy said, but Landy was saying in one of his videos, like Sora's gonna have to be careful, probably when being around her because she probably might be like a distraction or like a trap for Sora,
Yeah.
like it'd probably be like maybe something like Mom himself created, or maybe something from Lushu or something or somebody, but maybe the choices, maybe one of these choices is like Sora's gonna have to obviously we know that our boy Sora definitely just loves being like that person who likes to see the good in people, but I just feel like with this time, if this is a trap for Sora, then he's gonna have to be extremely, extremely careful, especially with Strelitzia. Even if we were to say, even if this wasn't the real her,
Right. And then there's, to intertwine with all of that, there is this other theory out there that Sora, I mean, maybe we'll get to see it at some point, but, so Sora might be the third reincarnation of player, because we saw the first version with Yin Cross. We were supposed to see the second one with Missing Link. So Sora might be the third one because we are controlling, we control player and Yin Cross, and we control Sora this whole time. If you remember from Yin Cross, Strelitzia really, really wanted to talk to player.
Yeah, she did.
Just never got the chance to.
Yeah, she was just really, she was really shy.
Yeah, but for some reason, something stood out about player that Strelitzia really wanted to talk to them. So that, to add on to the distraction theory, this is, if Sora is in fact the third or future reincarnation of player, then Strelitzia might see that. And that might add to the distraction, whether she's a replica of Data or somehow the real Strelitzia, that Data, even if she's Data, a replica of Data, she's still gonna remember player, because that was someone she literally was
trying to talk to.
Tried to talk to. I was gonna say she was literally following, and that sounded creepy. But she did watch them and follow them around. I think that with that added emotional layer, regardless of if she's real or a replica of Data, that will be something that, if it is the case that Sora is a reincarnated player, that would have to be addressed, and would likely distract Sora, because then now he'll probably be like, oh, like, why do you want to talk to me so much? Well, let's talk, like,
Yeah.
then yeah.
Yeah, and
So
even
that was just something.
yeah,
I was gonna say that's just something to add.
no, I agree with that because I remember I think it was like I mean, and maybe you can correct me on this as well because I do need to recap myself with Union Cross, but I also need to watch Dark Road. I promise in the future I will get to that. I definitely will. I need to be more knowledgeable on Union Cross and Dark Road. I still have not watched Dark Road. I am so sorry. Y'all can take away my Kingdom Hearts membership card for not seeing Dark Road. I am so sorry.
It's really good.
Yeah. Y'all can. I mean, heck, by the time this episode's on, y'all can confiscate my fanboy membership card right now. Confiscate it for me, please. But yeah, I do remember. I think, like, you know, Sriwate was, you know, I mean, maybe you can correct me on this one, but I think like there was a time where Sriwate is like, you know what, like I've been seeing the player a lot and all this, but you know what, I'm finally, I'm finally gonna do it. You know, it's time to be more courageous about it, be more bold about it. I'm finally gonna do it. But even around that time when she's finally gonna do it, her life is cut short because of Ventus being possessed by darkness.
Right.
Which, of course,
Yeah.
which obviously, Ventus has no recollection of any of that happening.
Right. No, yeah, you're absolutely correct. Basically, once she got brave enough, to be like, yep, I'm gonna talk to them. I'm gonna talk to player today, and what looked like Master Ava, called her and was like, oh, come into this, dark building real quick, and it ended up being, like you said, Ventus possessed by darkness, who, like, remembered it at the time, brain kind of broke, but when he was shipped off in the lifeboat arc and was found, he does not remember, right? Like, his memories are gone, because he didn't have something that would, from that time, that would connect to his memories like maybe everybody else did, or what was it, somebody to remember him from that time, that's what it was. So yeah, that is still locked, but now he has his Chirithy, so we'll see if that is a plot point that
and I'm trying to get this as well, like now that you brought that up, with Ventus having his Chirithy back, do you think like Chirithy's probably gonna like try to like refresh Ventus's memory from what happened in the Union Cross days?
Because Chirithy was an entity. There we go. Chirithy's an entity that does remember him from that time. So, he should. It's kind of interesting because it seemed like, I talked about this too. I forgot I did a video on this. But okay, so when we see him reunite with his Chirithy, I was of two minds on that. And then after thinking about it a little bit more, of like, will Chirithy unlock his memory? I'm kind of still of just two minds on that. So when Ben reunite with this Chirithy is a really cute scene, right?
Yeah.
And it was like Chirithy was so happy to see their friend again, and it was like really sweet. But we kind of put together, I think we kind of made the leap in our heads, from watching Union Cross and knowing about Vin back then. We kind of made the leap that, Vin remembered Chirithy, and it was a really sweet scene. My other mind is like, yeah, but Vin is like just a really cheerful person, and like, Charity's cute, so like, of course he would probably welcome it. That doesn't necessarily mean he remembers who Chirithy is, right?
Yeah.
So that said, we're still seeing this kind of happy, very cheerful Vin at peace. Even in the epilogue, when Riku visits what is that place called? Land of
Departure?
There we go. I was like Land of Destiny, and that did not. That was not it. Yeah. So when Riku visits the Land of Departure, Vin is still like,
himself.
You know,
he's
yeah,
he's himself.
And I don't think that would be the case if he got his memory back and was like, "Oh my god, I killed somebody." So I think there might be something missing. I think it was somebody to remember them, but it was also a medium. And I think the medium for most people, with the exception of Brain, but I think maybe the medium was assumed to be their Keyblades, but I'm not 100% sure. I think there's something missing to where Vin still doesn't have his what I call Yin Cross memories.
Yeah.
So even though Charity's back with Vin, it might take somebody like Naminé, who has her own body now, to maybe help out, because Naminé, is a witch who can manipulate, unlock, distort memories.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping, that's my hope, that Naminé gets a chance to kind of help Vin out, have more of a presence.
Yeah.
In that way, and less so in a kind of sacrificial way, but more so in an active way. That's kind of how I see things working out.
Yeah, Naminé definitely does have that gift. She does have that special gift. So maybe, like, she has that potential of trying to, like, unlock some of, like, Ventus's old memories back in Union Cross, kind of like what you're saying. I mean, that could definitely be some potential there now that she's back. But going back to Sora back in Quadrado, I mean, so we do have a confirmation from the team that, that Sora will be able to have like his cartoony-ish like face that we all know and love. The only reason why he has that face now is because he's in the world of, in the world of reality. So it's good that, like, in Kingdom Hearts 4, Sora's gonna be able to have that cartoony face that we've known and loved since 2002. So my guess is, if adding on with the whole, like, the choice is yours, and, like, the game started by young Ericus himself, and and looking on the chessboard where young Xander's like 7 black pieces. So does this actually mean, like, that there's only gonna be like 7 different worlds for, like, Sora to explore, but mostly, like, the whole theme is like themes that are, like, focused on spiritual things or just death, maybe? Because obviously, we've seen a lot of people say, like, oh, maybe one world would focus on maybe focus on something on Coco, since, obviously we know that movie, focuses on death and spiritual things, like, same, like, with God, I'm thinking about that. God, what is that other movie? I can't think. My brain is, like, not working right now. It has, like, Maribel in it or something like that, with the family. The one with Bruno.
Oh. I know which one you're talking
God,
about.
what? God, my brain's farting right now, so I'm trying to remember the movie. I think it's like El Canto, right? El Canto.
Encanto.
Yeah, Encanto. Yeah, like maybe like that, or just like, I've seen people talk about, like, oh, the possibility of having, Star Wars in there. I mean, a lot of people say, like, it's kind of an up in the air kind of thing, but honestly, when you do think about it, there definitely is like, depending on which film you're watching, there definitely are, like, a lot of deaths in Star Wars, which is honestly is, like, kind of.
Yeah, people do be dying. In Star
Yeah,
Wars,
people.
so-
Yeah, people definitely do be dying. Like take like both Jango and Boba Fett. You know, Darth Maul himself. Like,
yeah.
you know, like there's a lot of deaths going on. So do you feel when young Xehanort mentioned the 7 black pieces? Do you think maybe this could be a symbolism of like these are 7 worlds that Sora himself is gonna have to explore?
So I know the most prevalent theory out there is that the 7 black pieces are the. It's okay, I can say it. But anyway, the 7 black pieces are the foretellers plus the master of masters. That's the prevailing theory. Now I can see a kind of spin off, like a combination of that plus what you're talking about. Maybe these are 7 realms or worlds, because we don't know, you know, if Quadratum is its own realm or if it's just a world within a larger realm yet. So maybe these are worlds that, you know, somehow involve the foretellers. And I'm kind of taking from something young Xehanort was saying to Sora in Kingdom Hearts 3 of the power of waking is to let me see if I can get this right. The power of waking is to traverse hearts to get to world. Nope, backwards. The power of waking is to traverse worlds to get to hearts, not to traverse hearts to get to worlds. I think there was something there to maybe hold on to for this next arc.
Yeah.
Just because of, you know, the Master locking, or allegedly locking these true darknesses, these 7 pieces of true darknesses within himself and the foretellers, and attempting to do the same to the Union Dandelion leaders, before that all that kind of went awry. So I think there is something there where, while this was a Master's plan, and that darkness is supposed to take on some sort of physical form from the foretellers, in order to be defeated, or extracted, I guess. There is kind of this lingering question of like, yeah, it's been locked in them for all this time, like, and Lushu's kind of like a what's the word? He's kind of like not an anomaly, but we don't know if he's gone rogue or if he's still following through the plan, or like,
Yeah.
we don't quite know where his loyalties lie right now, because there's this detail of like, once it was revealed he was Lushu, it's like, cool, his eye is still yellow like the other organization members, whose eyes were yellow because they were, you know, corrupt. They were shells of Xehanort. They're supposed to be
Right.
Xehanort's vessels. They were these shells. They were corrupted by darkness. So it's a question of like, why is his eye still yellow?
Yeah.
Has he in fact been corrupted? So yeah, I kind of like the combination of theories though. Like, they're probably the foretellers, but maybe these are worlds in which, like, they're related to the foretellers, and the Masters, and Sora has to like confront each of them, which probably would not. I don't see that taking place all in one game, just because what do you have after you've done all that? But that's
Yeah.
for Nomura to decide.
Yeah, that's up to Papa Nomura to decide, you know, because, like, you know,
Yeah.
these, the 7 black pieces on the chessboard, you know, it's like you're saying, they could mean anything. Could be, like, you know, the ancient 4 towers along with Lushu and Mom himself, or something else. But honestly, there's kind of no telling. Like, I feel like my guess is probably around the start of Kingdom Hearts 4, we're probably going to get into more context about this game that young Ericus started back at the end of Kingdom Hearts 3. So because like when you do think about it, at the start of 3, they're over here playing the game themselves. They're playing, they're playing the game themselves, and like, and then the new game is started by young Ericus. So I'm sure, probably at the start of Kingdom Hearts 4, is gonna be like it's probably gonna be young Ericus's plan on how this game's gonna go, because to me, my theory is like, when you do think about it, like, starting off with the event with Kingdom Hearts 1, I feel like with everything happening, like with Sora and the rest of the characters, it's just one big game on a massive chessboard.
Yeah.
That's what I kind of feel like it is. And on that chessboard, like we can, looking at the one picture right here, like Sora and the rest of the characters, they definitely play, various roles as different pieces. But like for me, Kingdom Hearts as a whole, especially for 4, like, it's all just a massive game of chess. Because the thing is, like Sora, like, because when you do think about it now, at the end of every numbered title or any game that Sora is present, Sora is the one who's always Sora at the end is always making the checkmate calls, right?
Yeah.
He's always the one making the checkmate calls. So there's no telling whether in 4 he's probably gonna make the checkmate call. There's no telling about that, but
I think he ultimately will. I don't know if it will be by the end of 4 or just by the end of the Lost Master arc. I think he ultimately still will make the checkmate call. I think the Master of Masters will attempt to make the checkmate call before, kind of like how Xehanort did. In the Keyblade Graveyard. I see that sort of thing happening again, just with the Master of Masters and facing off with Sora instead.
Yeah, and I'm sure we'll probably will, which of course, everybody has been speaking about this for the longest time. Like everybody is still theorizing about who obviously is the Master of Masters. Like, a lot of people have thrown in their own theories and stuff like that, and of course, I'm sure we don't even know who actually made this chessboard. Now,
yeah,
my theory is that the person who I think is responsible for making this chessboard, this is just my guess, is who was the one person who was like the master of games? That's Luxord. Luxord. Yeah, Luxord himself is the master of games. I mean, obviously, he's not using chess pieces, but he's using cards. So my guess is, like, maybe, like, before he became a member of the organization, maybe he was the one who actually, created this massive chessboard, right here. And now, like, everything that happens on the chessboard just plays out. Like, for example, like Riku, like, originally back in Kingdom Hearts 1, Riku was the one who was supposed to accept the Kingdom Key, but since he chose darkness, it just went down the list and just went forward to Sora.
Right.
So that part was already knocked off on the chessboard. So now, and there was one thing I was thinking about now that I'm thinking about Luxord. So after the fight in the Keyblade Graveyard, Luxord gives Sora a card, and Luxord says, take it as like a wild card and use it when you need to. Mm-hmm. So I'm kind of guessing, like, is that going to be like a pass, like, to help Sora with something, like, while he's in Quadrano? Like, what do you think? Like, what do you think that wild card could be? Because honestly, think about it, think Uno. Like, when you play Uno and you choose a wild card, you're the one who gets to make the call and you get to make the decision, right? So, like, you get to choose, I want you to place red, yellow, green, or blue, right? Do you get what I'm saying? That.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of thinking about, like, now that I'm kind of connecting the dots here with the sentence, the choice is yours once more. Part of me wants to think that Sora, even though he's dead, he probably still has that wild card, or whatever this card is that he got from Luke's sword, and this is probably going to give him a choice on what he wants to do while he's in Quadratum. Oh, I don't know. What do you think?
I definitely think that card will be used this part, just because, like, I mean, obviously we didn't see him use it when he faced off with Xehanort at the end of Kingdom Hearts 3. We didn't even see him use it when he went back to save Kyrie, and we saw the events of Remind unfold. So it stands to reason he still has that card with him. So I do think that it will come in handy. And maybe you're right. Maybe it's kind of like the wild card, kind of like in Uno, where you can choose whatever you want to do out of the choices you have, or you can make your own choice. So I can see that being a possibility. With the Master of Masters, I wasn't sure where you were going with, like, trying to see who the the identity of the Master of Masters.
Yeah, I was like saying, like, I was just saying, like, like, we still don't have no, idea who he is, but I'm sure we'll find out, like, who he really is. Yeah.
I do feel like Ray Chase was hired for a reason, and I don't think they'll switch voice actors midway through. So I am very curious to see, like, who he ends up being, though.
Yeah, I'm kind of curious myself. Also looking at Twitch chat. Yo, Gator, welcome on in. Enjoy your work. Thank you for tuning into the podcast. Good to see you, my friend. Welcome on in. But yeah, like, it's just because honestly, we know from the start that Kingdom Hearts 4, this is gonna be the start of the Master of Masters final hour. Right. Finest hour. Why did I say final? Finest hour. This is gonna be his finest hour. So he's gonna have a big purpose in here. Like, something is gonna be happening. Or part of me wants to think, since the Master of Masters knows all, I'm sure maybe he kind of knows something. He knows about that wild card that Sora has, and he'll probably will play around and trick him and Sora, because being the kind of character that Sora is, like, where he kind of, where somebody kind of tells us something and Sora's just like, wait, how do you know that? Or are you trying to trick me? Like Sora's kind of in that phase. So I kind of feel like there's going to be a confrontation between both him and the Master of Masters. And Mom is probably going to be like, oh, you mean like that wild card you're carrying in your pocket? And then it's just like, and Sora would just probably be like, like, how do you know that? It's like, well, he's like, well, I know many things. There's more than meets the eye, but something tells me with that card, you're given a choice to decide what you actually want to do.
Yeah. I am curious, because, like, it's assumed the Master of Masters knows all, but I am also curious of, like, is that kind of it's a certain type of fallacy. But is that basically a fallacy to assume that he knows all? Because even Master knows that Lucio is a traitor. So we don't quite know where the betrayal took place. It's assumed it's, like, during Union Cross, and that was the Keyblade War story and all that. But I'm still curious of, like, he knows all allegedly, but, like, is that actually the case? Like, did Lucio really show everything? I'm still trying to find this fallacy. I think it's called a not false call. I can't find it, and it's not coming to me. But
It's
it's
okay.
basically when
It's okay.
it's a fallacy, basically, that you assume, like, you assume this is true, like this is, or
Yeah.
it's not quite appeal to authority, but it's like you're assuming this is a fact, that so we're assuming this is the fact that the master knows all, even though it was said, but it's not really, we don't really know to what degree. Like, you might know a lot of things,
Right.
up to certain points, but yeah, because again, I know they're gonna work this in at some point, but Missing Link was supposed to be this blank era.
Yes.
And in that trailer, the first trailer, we see Lucio, or who we're assuming to be Lucio, covering up the eye on the Keyblade, and I think that was shown for a reason.
Yeah.
So that's it. It's actually hard to say whether or not the Master knows about that wild card. That might be something that he doesn't see.
Yeah, that could be something though, because honestly, I'm actually really glad that thanks to Pop and the Mora, we're gonna be getting some lore from Missing Link and all of this. So there's definitely gonna be some ties and like connections with of course this canceled game versus Kingdom Hearts 4. So we might get some connections here and there somewhere, like maybe it'll probably will be like the return of Brain, for example, like maybe like thoughts on that can possibly happen. I mean, there's honestly is no telling at the end of the day. So I definitely do want to conclude this out real quick with one final question though. Okay. So now that we've came up with our own theories about the whole like connecting to the sentence that we see here, like from the trailer for Kingdom Hearts 4, is that the choice is yours once more. So now my question is for sure is that based on what we've came up with, do you think there will be a possibility that Sora probably might find a way to come home? Because my guess is that now that he's in Quadratum, I'm probably gonna say that there is a chance that his star is probably in the final world, like kind of like with the Nameless star with Nominate earlier when Sora got to talk to her, especially on the other stars. So maybe like it's some of the other characters, like like I'm just gonna throw this out there, like if, for example, like if Roxas or Shion or Axel or somebody, they definitely want to help out on trying to find Sora, and they arrive to the final world and they see all these stars everywhere and they confront Sora Star. Do you think that with the help of their friends, now that everybody is back, do you think that Sora will find a way to come home if he makes the right choice?
I think there is a way for him to come home. I think something would have to be sacrificed. And I think he has a time limit as well.
Yeah.
It's not gonna be on us as the gamers, because I feel like that would be a little too much. But
yeah,
there's a certain time limit, because I'm not. Well, and this is kind of why I say I see Quadratum as a purgatory, not necessarily full on. He's not fully passed on. He's like not in the realm in between, because there's already an in between light and darkness, but more so an in between life and death type of realm, and I think that's what Quadratum is. So in a way, it's a version of an afterlife, but it's not the full. No, you're fully dead. Because if there's a chance for him to come back, then that's closer to me.
Yeah.
Well, to me, it's closer to like it's an in between and purgatory is not the right word, but that's the best way I can like frame it.
Mm-hmm.
But it's kind of this in between space with a certain time limit. So I think that's why when Riku, Kairi, and the fairy godmother visit the final world, like, you know, they see all these stars. They talk to the nameless star, but Sora's star isn't there yet.
Yeah.
I think he has a certain amount of time where this choice has to be made before his star winds up in the final world, because the final world is like you've basically passed on if your star's in the final world, but like because if you're formless and you're a star, that means that those are like lingering memories, feelings, not that anything in the physical realm is holding you there, like Kairi was with Sora when he was in the final world the first time, but just more so like, you know, that's kind of that sense of heaven, but they're just lingering feelings and memories and all of that. Those are the stars. But like I said, I don't think Sora is there yet in the sense of being a star, but I think he has a time limit before he is.
Yeah.
I think whatever choice he has to make is what will determine whether he comes home fully to the realm of light, or if he does wind up like fully passed on and only a lingering memory in the final world. So that's kind of how I see it.
Yeah, and honestly, you know, it could definitely would be really sad, like for example, like if he were to like pass on and to take on the form of the star, because you know, because honestly, you know, when you do think about it, it would be hard. It would be even more difficult to bring him back, because it's kind of like the fairy godmother said in the end of Melody of Memory, you know, where she's like, you know, if only I could use my magic to bring him back, but unfortunately I can't do that.
Yeah, because even with that type of magic, it has its limitations. And
it's
usually when it comes to life and death, that's where the limit is.
Yeah, exactly. It definitely is, you know. So honestly, at the end of the day, in Kingdom Hearts 4, you know, Sora's gonna have to make some pretty good decisions about this. You know, it's gonna be more like a situation, you know, like what needs to be, you know, what can I bring back with me, and what needs to be sacrificed, because to me it kind of takes it back to like the theming of Chain of Memories and Castle Oblivion, kind of like with Marluxia saying, you know, to find is to lose, and to lose is to find, basically, you know. So it's more like a take and sacrifice situation. So it's like, if Sora takes it, so if Sora makes this decision, he gets to take this, but this part has to be sacrificed. Or on the other hand, if he makes this decision, then something or somebody else has to be sacrificed. But I do like what you're saying, Em, because like honestly, at the end of the day, you know, like kind of like looking at the chess piece right here on the board, where it's like one is like shaded and the other is not. It's more going to be, you know, and I agree with you on this one. It's more going to be like a take and sacrificial thing. One that Sora can take, one can Sora take, and then the other Sora's going to have to sacrifice. Which, of course, in the end, when it comes to sacrificing something, he's going to have no other choice. He's going to have to do. He's going to have to do it.
Right. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, it's really interesting. But of course, at the end of the day, that is up to good old Papa Nomura to give us more information. But by the way, I want to thank you so much for being here.
Yeah. Like I said, thank you again for having me. This is fun.
Yes, thank you. And if you guys are not following Em on Twitch and YouTube, and I'll definitely will shout her out as well. I'll put her name in the description, so y'all can definitely go find her as well. So please go follow Em on both Twitch and YouTube. But Em, before we go, let us know where else can everyone else find you.
So yeah, like Kokiri said, you can find me on Twitch and YouTube under Empowered Muse. You can also find me on, I'm still on Twitter for now. Same name, Empowered Muse, and you can also find me on Blue Sky. at empoweredmuse.bsky.social. It's under the same names. It's all the same handle. So
yeah. So yeah, this was honestly was a lot of fun. But yeah, I want to thank y'all so much for coming here. So, ladies and gentlemen, we got our 10th episode coming out on September 13th, which, by the way, I did not think I was going to make it this far for 10 episodes. But thank y'all so much for always tuning into, especially for the Zelda podcast I do on every third day in the month. So thank you for that as well. But yeah, so let me tell you guys what we're going to do for the next episode. So, let's meet back here on September 13th as we are going to discuss Roxas's story. We're going to talk about Roxas. And the only reason why I'm choosing Roxas is because on September 12th, in reality, it's actually is the real day 255. So why not talk about him on the next day instead? Even though it sucks we can't talk about him on day 255. I mean, that would have been nice, though. But yeah, thank y'all so much. Thank y'all so much. Thank you so much again for joining. This was a lot of fun.
Definitely was.
Yes, and if you guys are watching this on YouTube as well, please don't forget to do the following by liking, sharing, subscribing. Everything is really helps out. Thank y'all for watching. And have a great night, and we'll see you later. Peace out.